You're listening to the Fast F1 Podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Fast F1 Podcast with me, Danny Kane.
And I'm Eddie Meteye-O'Kane.
Today we are reviewing the second round of the 2024 season, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And it was another Verstappen masterclass. It was on pole, led most all of the race, and kind of walked away with it again.
I was very surprised. That never happens.
Yeah, never ever. So practice, though, wasn't straightforward. Eddie, tell me about practice.
Logan Sargent nearly plowed into Lewis Hamilton for going slow and trying to let Carlos Sainz by afterwards, and he didn't see Logan Sargent coming through, and he nearly smashed right into him. Yeah,
it was a really close call. And what else happened in practice? There was somebody missed part of practice, it sounds like.
That's true. I'm pretty disappointed in that. Yeah.
Your favorite driver.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
Out with appendicitis.
So, because of that, though, Oliver Bearman, who had actually taken pole in F2 that same race weekend, got to drive in replacement for him. I think it was starting practice 2 or 3.
In practice 3.
3,
yeah,
okay.
It was the Friday practice in qualifying is where Bearman started filling in.
Yeah.
How did he do?
As far as practice goes, he did about average for a start, at least in Ferrari.
Yeah, he did well. I mean, it's first time in the car, and he's jumping in during third practice.
And of course, you want to do as best as you can if it's your first race, especially if the 2025 drivers market is almost empty.
Right, yeah, he's vying for a seat in 2025.
Yeah.
And then qualifying comes along, didn't quite make Q3.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that. But because of that, it was a very surprising turn of events, because unlike last weekend where we saw a Haas of Nico Hülkenberg make it onto the top 10, we actually saw Yuki Tsunoda qualify 9th ahead of Lance Stroll.
Yeah, well, and ahead of Lewis Hamilton as well. Hamilton qualified 10th place, nearly was knocked out of Q3 by Bearman, who qualified in 11th.
You're talking about Q2.
Yeah, in Q2, well, yes, you're right. In Q2, Hamilton was 10th and very nearly got knocked out by Bearman.
Yes.
So then we fast forward to the race. The start of the race, Lando Norris tried to jumpstart, didn't jumpstart, or he did jumpstart and then stopped. And
it was confusing.
It was. I still don't understand quite what happened. But
it is confusing.
Norris jumped the start but stopped. And I guess he didn't move forward far enough to where the proximity sensors picked up that he had moved too far forward in his starting box. So no penalty for Lando Norris, which made me happy.
Awfully close, though.
It made me happy because I'm a big McLaren fan.
Yeah, he is.
So then, about 10 laps into the race, Lance Stroll with a big moment.
Yeah, first crash of the season, and that was a pretty hefty one. And I loved the radio conversation.
Yeah, his team radio, where he crashed, told his team he was okay.
And then his race engineer said, "All right, are you able to bring it out back into the garage?" And he said, "No, I'm in the wall."
Right. Yep. I'm in the bleeping wall. So yeah, a funny moment from Stroll there. But what that set up was interesting pit strategies because everybody except for 4 drivers came into the pits under the yellow flag, under the safety car. Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Nico Hülkenberg.
Nico Hülkenberg, yes.
And Zhou Guan Yu all stayed out. And everybody else came in and pit.
Yes, and the cool thing is that everyone was starting the race on mediums, but 2 people started the race on softs, Valtteri Bottas, and very strategically, yet very lucky, Oliver Bearman got to change his soft tires at the right moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked out well for Bearman because he had soft tires on, although they weren't going off very quickly.
No, they weren't. But
so he was going to need tires quicker than most. And I think Ferrari probably put him on soft tires because of it being his first race. They didn't want him to burn up the tires on the start or something like that. And Yeah, it ended up working out okay for him.
Well, at least for him. As for other people, a lot of traffic came around in the pits.
Yeah.
A couple of people actually got some penalties because of it, one of which stood out to me was Kevin Magnussen, who drove like a maniac this weekend.
Well, Kevin Magnussen's penalties weren't because of the pits, though. That was because of on-track action. So he collided with Alex Albon.
Oh, that's right.
He moved over on him, and they made contact, and then he passed Tsunoda and wasn't able to keep it on the track through I believe it was turn 2. One of the chicanes.
Yeah.
And as a result, got 10-second penalties for both of those 2 infringements.
And we found out after the race that apparently the drivers voted on having increased time penalties.
Yep, so for the 2024, the penalties that the stewards are going to put on drivers for things like collisions or for passing and or going off track and maintaining an advantage, they're going to be 10-second penalties instead of 5 seconds. And the drivers wanted this because they wanted there to be they wanted to make it so that drivers wouldn't intentionally go off track if they were a faster car and then pass somebody that was slower than them and then just speed off down the road more than 5 seconds, and then the penalty doesn't really mean anything. So making it a 10-second penalty makes it actually be a real penalty.
Yeah, I was going to say this a bit ago, but I did realize that actually kind of makes sense because in the track for Spa in Belgium, if you kind of cut the last corner of the track before starting a new lap, you get about a 5-second time penalty, and it takes a shorter amount of time to cut the track than to go all the way around. So the penalty doesn't even do anything. It actually doesn't help anything at all.
Yep, so Magnussen had 20 seconds worth of penalties as a result, and because of that, he knew he wasn't going to finish in the points, but his teammate Hülkenberg still needed to pit and was in the points. So Haas played kind of a stroke of genius here. They had Magnussen slow up the field behind him, basically race slowly.
Exactly.
And he did a really good job of holding up all the cars behind him. And when Hülkenberg finally came in and pit, he had enough time between him and Magnussen that he was able to get into the pits and come back out and still be ahead of Magnussen and all the other cars chasing behind, so he stayed in the points.
And Alex Albon, who Kevin Magnussen did hit, and because he did hit him, he couldn't actually finish in the points, so Alex Albon finished 1 place away from the points because of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, Haas did a very strategic strategy, but I would always love to see Williams getting more points.
And then the funny thing about all of that is that Magnussen finished on the lead lap,
That's true.
whereas the cars behind him all had gotten passed by Verstappen.
And they were all a lap behind.
They finished 1 lap down, but he was able to finish the last lap. So once you apply his 20-second penalty, he still ended up being ahead of them in the finishing results.
Which is so funny.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of a double win for Haas that they got Hülkenberg a point and Magnussen didn't lose any positions because
It was incredible.
He was the last car on the lead lap, I believe it was.
Yes. It had to have been because he only lost 1 place to Alex Albon because above Alex Albon was Nico Hülkenberg, who has gotten 1 point. And I know K-Mag finished 12th, I think.
So we're talking a lot about what was going on around for 10th place, and kind of the reason for that is nothing else was happening further up.
Exactly.
Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton were up toward the front of the field for a little while because they had not pit under the safety car. But otherwise, there was not much action the rest of the race. It was kind of a dull race toward the front of the field.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's just Formula One in 2024, it seems like. So we'll move on to our predictions. So from last week, Eddie, you predicted that the finishing order for this race was going to be Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz. How did Verstappen do?
Verstappen didn't do too well. He got first. I don't think that's good enough for Red Bull, though.
Leclerc was third, and Sainz obviously didn't even race.
So we're not going to count this one.
I think you were pretty far off with your second and third position.
Yeah.
Well, second you were only off by 1, but Sainz, didn't
I
even
was
start.
pretty far off. But
That's not as bad as I did because I said Verstappen, Sainz, Hamilton, and again Sainz didn't race, and Hamilton his finishing position was something like 8th place, I think?
think it was
or
9th.
9th, okay.
But the thing is that Oliver Bearman, if you did count Oliver Bearman, who actually, very good job from him, placing 7th at the end of the race. That's amazing.
Yeah, Bearman did a great job.
But if you did count Bearman, I would have won this one. But because I did not guess Bearman, and Bearman's a completely different driver than Sainz, we're just going to skip this one for this time.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Well, for this week, then, we're coming up on, I should say, the next race, the Australian Grand Prix.
Yep.
What's your picks for the top 3 in Australia?
This one's a tough one. I don't want to guess Sainz for this one because we don't know yet if he's going to be back or not.
Oh, he's going to be back. He'll be back. He was at
Yeah.
the track for the race. He just couldn't race
Well,
because
of course.
had surgery for.
But you never know. I'm going to guess it's going to be Verstappen. I don't think Perez is going to get second again. There's no way he's going to do it 3 times in a row. So I'm going to go Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez.
Okay, and I will say Verstappen, Perez, and
Don't say Hamilton again. That didn't go well this time.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm going to say Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc. I'll take the opposite for second and third as you.
All right. Got it. Well, that's it.
All right. Well, this has been the Fast F1 podcast with me, Danny Kane.
And I'm Eddie Meteye-O'Kane.
We'll see you again after the Australian Grand Prix, and thanks for listening.
Bye.
Fast F1 is produced by Danny Kane and Eddie Meteye-O'Kane. All rights are reserved. Music is performed by Alex